Namaste. Let me begin with a quote. Life has a way of pulling you down. Only you can find a way of pulling yourself up. And no, I don't think I've borrowed that from anywhere. But if I have, I guess great minds think alike. Just so you know, I have a terrible sense of humor. Anyway, life had pulled me down right from the start. This has been true for me since I was a child. I didn't have a father, as my parents had separated early in life. There goes any support from dad. And my mom didn't really have any basic education, and she had to work for pennies to put food on the table, a roof above our head, and put me through decent schooling. Things didn't get any better, although I was a pretty good student. We didn't have any money, and I had to work at a retail warehouse, picking goods on my shoulder into wee hours of the night to keep myself busy while I waited for God's intervention. An intervention she did. Somehow things fell into place. I secured an educational loan and off I went to get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I landed myself a sweet job in banking, followed by a long stint in consulting for great companies, and traveled a lot, primarily Asia. Drunk on my success, I began drinking a lot, partying a lot, messing up my relationships, got further drifted away from people who loved me, and honestly, I was just high on my fake sense of self-worth. My mom, in the past, kept joking that my ego was like the size of the Himalaya mountain. I guess she was right. Well, I wasn't happy. I made money, but it didn't humble me. In fact, the contrary. It made me more arrogant. I was constantly in fear of losing what I had created, and the anxiety of holding the thought, what if things went wrong? The question that itched me always was, why wasn't I happy even if I made good money, traveled to different places, and spent on expensive brands? In short, I felt unfulfilled. That's the way desire works. It never feels like it's enough. Bliss, joy, love, happiness were alien words, perhaps only either for the super rich or for the ones who sit in caves in the mountains. I desperately wanted to be happy, considering how far I came. I wanted to be in a state of trance, given all I had to endure. I needed to be loved again, to be seen as someone who is fulfilled and freed from the clutches of desire, lust, anger, greed, and fear. The question was, how? And that's really the reason why I began sharing this with you, my thoughts and experience through Mohksh in the first place. But I have to make an important point here. You see, the reason I felt stuck, and the reason many of us feel that way, is that we focus on what's present for us at any particular moment. On the other hand, what most of us want most is to move forward. And by definition, paying attention only to the present keeps us where we are, not where we wish to be. So sure, we can help ourselves become a better present self, but there could be so much greater impact on our lives, on others' lives, if we become a successful future self. Now here is the thing we know for certain. If you want to be a writer, you have to spend time writing. If you want to be a sales manager, you can't just sell, you have to develop your management skills. If you want to start a new company, or launch a new product, or lead a new group, you have to spend time planning and building your skills and experience. Then why don't we invest time and effort in building self-discipline, a clear conscience, clarity and refinement of speech, and a healthy physical self with focus and determination? Here is the key. You need to spend time on your future self, even when there are more important things to do in the present, and even when there is no immediately apparent return on your efforts. In other words, and this is the hard part, if you want to be productive to society while keeping a calm state of mind, you need to spend time doing things that feel ridiculously difficult. I'll let you on a secret. It's not that hard. You may not end up with an empty email inbox. You may not have the perfect compensation conversations. You may not please everyone. But I'm willing to bet that you will do those things pretty well enough. It's the other stuff that we aren't great at. We aren't great, generally speaking, at having a calm mind, irrespective of the circumstances. We get swayed by distractions and can't think clearly. We can't simply be detached from despair when things don't go our way. Hell, we can't sit still and quiet for an hour. Seems easy? Try it. I'm sure many of you might have been searching for peace in a retreat, doing some yoga and meditative practices. Here is the thing. Once you're back home, given the daily distractions and responsibilities of life, things go back to how they were. Someone is going to say something stupid, and well, you can't do much about that. I remember my first time when I visited a Vipassana center in Bogor, Indonesia. It was an amazing experience, mostly to be detached from the world for 10 days. When I was back home, I was full of enthusiasm to apply the techniques of breathing and control over my diet, i.e., pizza. Guess what? It lasted for all but a week, and then I sank back into oblivion. Perhaps my resolve was weak. So, the question in your mind right now would be, how do we build resilience of mind in a way that has a sense of permanence in terms of quietness, calmness, clarity, even if the environment keeps doing its thing? If we think about it, how beautiful it would be if we can maintain a state of detachment from worldly desires and yet continuously generate an unlimited supply of positive energy that permeates every cell of our body. Sounds good so far? Great, because that's what I feel every day. And that's what I want you to feel too. And without worrying about the details, I want you to just dive in and experience the beauty of detachment within. I'm going to share with you the what, the whys, the hows of meditation and more complex rituals like mantra sadhana in a very simple way. Remember, the hardest part is the act itself. It's a common assumption that if you run a marathon, the finish line is the destination. The act of running is the destination. And that's what this channel is all about. It's about you acting on what I'm going to share. I've spent thousands of hours to put the techniques to test because I prefer experiencing things for myself, and I can't begin to explain how I feel. Well, I guess in time you'll find out for yourself. So welcome to Mohksh. Mo, as part of Mohksh, means attachment, and the word aksh comes from the word moksha, meaning liberation from rebirth and suffering. My goal is to help you free yourself from the knots of desire, the strings that keep you attached in the material world, and most importantly, a false sense of self-worth. I'm happy to begin this journey with you together. Remember, the Guru is in you, and it's your responsibility to invoke the Guru in you. Namaste.